Hey everybody, how you doing? It's your girl Lana, your Resident Diva, here to give the tea, spill the tea, drink the tea, because you know I loves me some tea. And welcome to the Cup, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where you can come here first to quench your reality thirst, and where we put the tea in reality. As you see, I'm here all alone, but it's okay, because I got a lot to talk about. We are talking about Big Brother Canada this week in Big Brother Canada. And let's just say there's a lot that we have to talk about. Okay. But yeah. But first, um, I'm going to yeah. But first, I'm drinking water actually. It's nothing in this cup, but I'm drinking water. But if I wanted to put something in this cup, I will put it in this beautiful cup. The description is below. In the description, you can buy all of the cup merch at lanagscreation.etsy.com. You know you want one. Only the cool kids have them, you know? And you should want one too, period. Uh, me being here by myself, I have free reign to do anything I want to do. And so, yeah, I'm going to do this. Uh-huh. 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 Mm-mm. 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 Backslash G creations dot etsy.com. I'm gonna save that, and I'm gonna put it across the banner so you can see it. Of course, we always have our banner, so I wanted to make sure that was up there. So yes, we are talking Big Brother Canada today, and it's really just gonna be my thoughts and my opinions because I was the only one that could do it today. And since I was the only one that could do it today, shout out to Logan and to everyone on the Cup panel who usually does Big Brother Canada with me. But today is this weekend is a very, very busy weekend for Logan. So we're going to give Logan some time off to do what Logan has to do for work, real life stuff. Real life stuff is happening. So shout out to you, Logan. I got you back. You know I do. Big Brother Canada this week. We talked about last week how Kuzi won HOH for the week, which, you know, I'm always happy about. I am a Kuzi stan, Kuzi fan. Kuzi is mother. Kuzi is Kuziing out in these streets. Big Daddy K is doing it, and I am here for it. Um, so Kuzi is HOH this week, and the HOH competition that we didn't get to see last week was croquet. They had to build a platform out of these blocks on this narrow pole and built this platform and then knocked the ball down the long platform, and it had to go through the gate on the croquet ball. But these the bricks, the things that they put on was very flimsy and can fall off once the ball hits it, and so it was a learning curve for them to figure out what was good, what was bad, how could they make this work. Um, Zach was saying he could do it, but he didn't want to. He didn't need to. People were saying he was too powerful. So his plan was to throw it. Everybody else was going for it because people said they needed this HOH in order to, you know, keep their safety in this game. But it came really down to Anika and Kuzi. They were both on the right path of getting it together, but like I said, Kuzi ended up winning HOH, and she was ready to make some things happen. She had ideas and plans on how she was going to make this week work, how this week was going to happen, and yeah, she was ready for it. She was excited, And so her and the girls had a meeting. The girls had a meeting and they were like, look, we need to, make a move, figure out what's happening, say what we're going to do, you know, who are we looking at? So they were giving out their ideas, who they were looking at. They were looking at Santina because they said Santina is a problem. She's definitely with these boys, not trying to be with them. They didn't like how she ran her HOH. Also, Zach's name had come up because they said these boys are running it. And Ty's name had come up. And it was just some people are closer to other people, but they were like, we don't like how this game is, people are rocking in this game and they don't like how people were moving. And so they wanted to make a big move. They also wanted to make sure that Dan C was able to be a part of this group. They wanted to keep him safe. They liked him. And, I was like, I'm here for that because, I'm a, I was rocking with Dan C at that, So I'm like, okay, cool. And so Kuzi was like, so in order to make that happen, she took Dan C with her on her Wendy's um, to go get Wendy's. And they talked and they were like, look, we want to go and break up the trio of Santina, Ty, and Zach. And the girls want you involved with us. If that is something you'd be down for. And he's like, yes, for sure. We just need to break that trio up because they're too powerful. He was all about getting out Santina. That was perfect for him. He was great with that plan. And yeah, Kuzi was like, that's the plan, unless that's not the plan. She was like, that's the plan, unless something happens where Santina comes off the block. Then plan B or C or D or whatever, it's going to be Zach. But she didn't tell Dan that in that moment, not in the Wendy's moment, but just saying that Santina was the initial plan and the initial target for breaking up that trio. Um, so of course the boys are going to try, everybody's trying to push their own agenda on what they feel like Kuzi should do. Um, she wanted to, she wanted to, well, everybody was talking to Kuzi. I mean, of course, she's HOH. Everybody's going to talk to her and want to talk to her. Santina tried talking to her and she kind of, they kind of never agreed on anything, but never said she was going up. Just was like, okay, I'm thinking about it. I think about everything and figure out, what's what. Um, and then Ty comes in, and Ty is pushing his agenda where he wants her to put up Vanessa because Ty and Vanessa also got into it about this whole rogue vote because everybody's talking about who's the two people who went rogue and made it a 7-4 vote instead of a 9-2 vote to evict Rob. And we all know it was Hope and Vanessa, but both Hope and Vanessa are like deny, 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 deny. And Vanessa and Ty got into it because Ty asked her about it, and Vanessa got very defensive about why is he asking her. She told him what she did with her vote. He didn't know why he's asking her at all. You know. And so he was wondering, what that was about. And yeah. She she was very, very very agitated is the word that he would ask her about it. But she knew she was guilty, and that's what was bringing that up. All the guilt. The guilt was eating her up. She was very like, I don't know why you asked me this. I didn't do anything. Da, 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 da. But we knew it was just guilt. It was really just the guilt of it all. But she was going to deny. But the guilt was eating away at hope, and he decided he was going to be honest with Ty and with Zach because he said he figured they already knew that he was the rogue vote, one of the rogue votes, and he was like, "Yeah, it was me. I did it. It is what it is. I wanted to be honest with you guys. I did it." And so they to help rebuild the trust within each other in their group, in their little clique. He was like, "That's just what it is." Now Hope has been going on for a while, making it like he was this sad puppy and that he wanted to go home. He had things to go home for. He was missing a lot of people and things, and he just didn't know if this game was right for him. He had told several people in his house they could vote him out next week. It's fine. He'd go home and he'd be okay with it. But that wasn't the case. Hope is not trying to go home. He's using this as a way for people to just like drag him on, like, he's not serious. He doesn't want to win anyway, so we don't have to worry about him and we'll get him out. Now, I personally feel like if you play that role too well, people start believing you. You tell too many people so many times that you want to go home, people are going to start believing you, and then they're going to send you home. So that's not the particular game plan I would choose to do. But hope whatever works for you. If it works, I'll be back eating my words like maybe it works. I don't know. I don't think it's a good idea, and I don't think he's going to continue with that logic because I don't think it's working. I think you have to figure out something else. I don't think that is what's going to be the thing to work, but that's whatever. So after he tells them that he was the rogue vote, they're like, bro, cool. We kind of had an idea, we got a suspicion, but it is what it is. So it goes down to noms. We get to noms. And because really it's just nothing, really, a lot of filler, a lot of conversations, a lot of people just talking about what this rogue vote was, who did it, what should we do, blah, blah, blah. Get to noms, and Kuzi decides to nominate Santina and Vanessa. Santina for the reasons of she feels like Santina is a threat to her, but she doesn't really know her game that well. So she's just, she don't know. She's trying to figure it out. And Vanessa, she knows Vanessa is like the house target, but she also just says she doesn't know Vanessa's real game and what she's about. They haven't really talked, whatever. Oh, and let me bring up a point that I forgot to bring up at the beginning of Claudia hearing Ty after the HOH competition say it's like he won. Kuzi winning is like him winning because he feels he's super safe with Kuzi, which I think he is super safe with Kuzi, but do you say that? I don't know if that's something you say, but he said it, and Claudia heard it. And I'm like, if I heard somebody say that about somebody else's HOH, and I guess since Claudia feels like she's close to Ty, she wants to work with Ty, although she said she didn't feel like she could work with him. I don't know. I have thoughts about Claudia, and I feel like she's okay. I'll be honest, y'all. This is gonna be my personal opinions. Nothing. I don't enjoy Claudia. I think she's like a weak, very weak woman. Like she is very. I don't like her. I just don't. That's my opinion. That's strictly my opinion. You don't have to agree with me. I can understand if you don't. I just feel like this whole thing this week just like Tide talks to her in such a way that is so disrespectful and it's so like gross. And she's even made comments about it. Like it's not like she's unaware and doesn't understand how he talks to her and like doesn't see it like we see it. Like she's made comments about it. She's talked about it. She said she doesn't feel like she could work with him because he's not on the same page as her and they're not gelling together. And yet she still is just like crying over everything he says and does. And we'll talk about that later, but it's just like you're running up behind him and you're all up on it's just stand up. Like, girl, stand up. Have a backbone. Make your own decisions. Make your own choices. Like, I get it. In a game where you have to hold your tongue and not say some things in order to not get, you can stay in the game longer. Sure, fine. But my God, girl, get off of your knees. Stand up. Stand up. Seriously, like, oh my God, I can't. I don't enjoy watching her style of play. Now she can come out and win this whole thing, and everybody be like, "Well, it worked. It worked. It probably possibly could work, but I will still 10 toes down tell her to stand up. Like, how do you recognize that somebody is disrespecting you and talking crazy to you and talking down to you, and you still are okay with following up behind them and crying over them? Like, no. I shed no tears for someone who disrespects me. I shed no tears for somebody who disrespects me. But that's just me. Like I said, my own personal opinion. And this episode is going to have a lot of my own personal opinions about people. You might not like it, and I understand if you don't. You can disagree with me, and you can tell me you disagree with me, and tell me why you disagree with me. And it's fine. I'm okay with that. I'm just going to state how I feel. It's not going to change how I feel about that situation. So she needs to stand up. She needs to stand up. And Shania is not that far behind her, if you're asking, for me. But I like her a lot more than I like Claudia. Claudia needs to stand up. Period. Period. But then we move because I'll talk more about that later. So like I said, the nominations are Santina and Vanessa. Everybody's like, okay, cool. That is what it is. Santina's pissed. She's very upset. She feels like Kuzi lied to her or didn't tell her she was going up. Like, why did she just not tell me? Yada, yada, yada. Not that any HOH has to flat out tell you anything, but she was upset. And I'm like, girl, you barely talked to Kuzi. When she was trying to talk to you during your HOH, you brush her off. Now, just because you didn't put her up and you feel like she owes you one, everybody in the house then owes you one who you didn't put up. Then that's not how the game is played. Like, you brush Clusie off, you barely talk to her, you don't have a connection with her, and then you expect her not to put you up because all of a sudden you decided last week that you decide you want to go after the boys. Well, you could have did that when you were HOH and you didn't. You didn't. You went after John Michael, who was to be a number for Kuzi if he stayed. Like, you decided to side with the other side, and she's like, I'm not there on that side, so therefore you're against me. Now, you could be like, well, she tried. She's playing. She's on other. She doesn't like Zach anymore. Well, how's Kuzi supposed to know that? How's Kuzi supposed to know that? So Santana is pissed, and she's saying she wants to go after Kuzi. That's it. Then something happens, and right before the veto, the house guests are being called into um, the house is being called into the living room, and um, and the producers get on the loudspeakers to say, "Hey, we have to talk about give you all some news," and yeah. So, due to a medical issue, Vanessa has left the show. So she's been evicted, or she left, wherever you're gonna put it. Vanessa has left. So she will be the fourth person evicted, or I don't know how we want to put it. She left. She was evicted, but she left, not voted out. But Vanessa had to leave for personal reasons that we don't know about. And it is what it is. We are praying for Vanessa, whatever is going on. They said she's okay, but whatever is happening, I hope she's all right. I hope everything is fine with her. But Vanessa had to leave, and therefore, Kuzi had to come up with another nominee. And she had to come up with another nominee. Oh, I'm sorry, I hit that. Had to come up with another nominee because Vanessa was now gone. And so they gave her an hour to do that. So she had to go and think about it. So Kuzi pulls Hope into the HOH room and is like, "Look, Hope, I need you. I need a competitor to go out there and compete and win the veto." And so he's like, "You know what, Queen Kuzi, I got you. I got you. Whatever you need, I got you." And she's like, "I just need you to go out there and compete." And he was like, "I got you. If that's what you need from me, I got it. I'm good." So after everything was up, the next noms are now Santina and Hope. Hope and Santina are the new nominees. And there we go. So Hope is down for the cause. He's like, "I'm down. You put me in, coach. Got it. Let's do this. Let's get it together. I'm going. I got you." So everybody's like, "Okay, all right. We got Hope. We got Santina on the block. Fine." Then we pick the veto players, and the veto players are Hope and Santina, Anika, Ty, and Zach. Those are the veto players for this week. And it looks like a good lineup for Santina because you have Ty, Zach, and herself all playing the veto. And one of them can easily pull her off. It'd be great. Sure. So it's like, okay. And Zach and Ty have a little bit of a falling out for a minute. It was like a little brief, little spat, I guess, lovers quarrel, if you want to put it. I don't know, little quarrel about the veto, and if Santina can win, and Zach's like, "You're not winning," and Santina's like, "Oh, okay." So Zach and Ty have a little beef, like, we can't pull Santina off. It would look crazy for us to pull Santina off and, it's showing our cards and blah, blah, blah. Like they have not shown their cards already, but whatever. Also, we find out that there's another little secret alliance happening between Daniel, Steve, and Zach. Now, I will say this. Daniel C., I like him. I love him. I know him. I appreciate him. I am a fan of him. I am not a fan of this decision. Him and his allyship to Zach confuses me. But, yeah, I'm not a fan of it. I am not a fan of it. I'm going to be honest. And I will tell him that. I don't understand it. But I am not in that house. I don't understand people's feelings and who draws who to whom and why and what reasons they're drawn to each other for. I am just not a fan of Zach. So therefore, I'm not a fan of anything Zach does. And I'm not a fan of any allies that Zach has. Because I feel like he's very disrespectful when he talks to people and he talks down to people. He does what I feel like is a very typical male thing to do when he talks about women and he talks down to them like, honey, I got it. Like, you should listen to me. Trust me. I got it. Because my plan is the right way. My way is the right way. I'm going to lead you on a path that's going to work for you. You don't know what you're talking about. And it's very condescending. He might not realize how condescending he is, but he's very condescending. And it was very annoying to listen to. Now, like I said, I don't know what his relationship with Dan was like in the house because we don't have any, live feeds to see those things. But even in the digital dailies that I checked out little bits and pieces of, they seem to have a connection some kind of way. Did I feel like Dan had a crush on Zach? Maybe, possibly. And I don't know. I don't know. And if that's the case, ew, but whatever, it is what it is. I don't know. All I know is I am not a fan of Zach and I'm a fan of Dan. And so him trying to be an ally for Dan and like a really fight for him kind of ally was kind of like, ugh, for me. Sorry, Dan. I just didn't like it. And it's okay. I don't have to like it. Everybody has their own opinions and own, how they feel about things. I just didn't like it. I don't understand it. And maybe once you get out of the house, you can explain that more for yourself if you feel like it. You don't even have to. It's your decision. You make whatever, you decide whatever you want to do. Zach's just not it for me. My personal opinion. I don't get him. And the rest of this episode even makes me just not get him even more. Like, ew. So that was a thing. And so Zach is very upset now that he is on the block since Vanessa's gone. And Ty is also very upset that he is on the block. And yeah, very annoyed, very upset. So he's like, Ty's like, look, don't worry about it. We'll get it. We'll make sure everything happens all right. We just have to figure this thing out. So Ty goes to Hope and is like, hey, just trust me, I got you. Because they definitely are treating Hope like Hope is stupid. Hope doesn't know anything. Hope is crazy. And they could just tell Hope what to do and he'll do it because he's trying to regain their trust. So he'll do exactly what they want him to do. So they tell Hope before the veto, if something happens, you might have to do something crazy with the veto, just in case you win it. But we won't talk about it now. We'll wait till after the veto. So Hope is like, okay, whatever. Veto competition comes around, and the veto is sponsored by Brita. So of course they're gonna have something to do with water. Dancy is hosting in a nice little water drop outfit. um, what they have to do is take these 20 balls and throw it into a tube, a canister of sorts. You have 20 of them, you have to throw them in there. And then once you get all 20 in there, you take the tube and you have to fill it up. Well, you have to get water in it in these different spouts. It's different spouts at each station, but only one spout, shoots water out at a time. So you have to move this big canister under where you can get the water, which is going down to fill up a Brita container. And once you have the container full, you pour it into this other container where the water will go and it will rise up. And then there's a ball inside. And once the water is up high enough where you can get the ball out, you win. So we've seen, sort of challenges like this on Big Brothers before. So, nothing new, nothing special. And so that's what it is. So they start off, and Zach and Ty had already mentioned that they were going to throw this challenge, but then $5,000 was on the line. And so Ty has decided, $5,000 on the line, I am no longer trying to throw it. He's going for it. And everybody else is going for it except Zach. Zach is like, I already won $5,000. Not tripping. I'm not going to try to win it. And but Hope is on a mission. He's trying to do this because he wants to prove to himself, to Canada that he can do it, and to Kuzi that he is the man who get the job done that she put out there. And so Hope is busting his hump, trying to get this job done, get this water. And everybody is. Ty's doing it, and Santina's definitely trying to get it done. But in the end, it all came down to the winner, and that was Hope. Hope wins the veto. Hope is happy, excited, safe, great, all of that. Yeah, that's what that is. So Hope wins the veto, and everybody's happy for him. And so Ty is like, Zach is like, he's probably going to use it on himself. Ty goes to Kuzi and is like, so what's the plan? What are we going to do if Hope takes herself down? And he's like, she's like, well, if he takes himself down, I'm probably going to have to put up Zach because it's a big move and I need to not waste it. They wanted her to put up Renee instead. And she's like, look, putting up Renee, it's a waste of an HOH. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to look back at my HOH and be like, all the moves I could have made and I used it on Renee. That's a waste of an HOH in my opinion. And I don't want to do that. And Ty was like, I don't know. I don't think it's a waste. I think it's, she was like, would you put up Renee? Is Renee a good move for you that you want to look back on your HOH and say, hey, that was a good move, a power move I made? And he was like, sometimes the most powerful moves are the most silent moves. And she was like, I don't know. And so, I think oh no, I didn't. But yeah. And so she's like, I probably gonna have to put up Zach if I do, or Daniel S. That might be the move for me. And she's like, he's like, but I mean, what can I do? You do what you got to do because he can't push because if you push, then it's like, man, maybe I should put you up. So it was crazy. So of course Ty goes to Zach and is like, she's leaning on putting you up. And Zach is like, me? Why? Why would she put me up? And he's like, I don't know, it's a big move, blah, blah, blah. And so Zach is like, nah, we can't do that. Can't let her put me up. That's crazy. And so they were like, he was like, well, don't worry, we got a plan. We got the Hope plan. We're going to try to keep Hope to not use the veto, and we can get Santina out of here. And so they literally wanted Hope to not use the veto that he won on himself and stay on the block. And they thought this plan is going to work. They would, and Hope is looking at like, he was like, we might want to, you might have to do something real crazy with this veto. And he was like, huh? We're like, yeah, you shouldn't use it. And Hope was like, you want me to not use a veto that I won for me and get myself off the block? Just keep myself on the block. What? In what world do you win a veto and you on a block and you not take yourself off? I mean, Marcellus did that, but that was that was even more crucial time. But in this early stages of the game, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And Hope was not going for that. And Hope was like, I'm taking myself off the block. And they did not like that. They didn't like that at all. Oh, they were not happy with that. And so veto ceremony comes around. Hope takes himself off the block like he told him he was. He was like, I'm taking myself off the block. That's what I'm going to do. That's the plan me and Kuzi had, and I'm going to honor that plan. Taking myself off the block, because it makes no sense. Because if you stay on the block, people can flip in the morning and then you're out the door when you had the opportunity to take yourself off. That's crazy. Crazy. So he's like, nah. He took himself off the block, as he should. And then Kuzi gets up and she says, somebody once told me in this game that you won't regret. You can only 100% regret a move if you don't make the move. And so I am going to make the move. And she said, trust me, I won't miss. And she told Zach to sit on the block. So the final noms are Santina and Zach. I, for one, was thrilled. I, for one, was excited. I, for one, was ecstatic to see her make the move that should have been made and needed to be made. Because this man walks around this house like he is running the entire show and everybody's just supposed to fall in line. And I, for one, was tired of seeing this. And his friend Ty, like, I was sick of seeing the Ty and Zach show. I'm sick of seeing them running everybody's HOH. I'm sick of seeing whatever they say goes. And everybody else will just fall in line. It's just, in what world is this how it's supposed to be? Like, seriously. So Kuzi did what had to be done. And I'm like, mother, queen, do it. Sis, I'm here for that move. I was literally screaming, like, yes, make the move, had to happen. But then we find out, we see, because all these past 2 weeks, they've been getting their way. And they've been real cool. They've been real chill. Because everything they wanted to happen, happened. This week, when Zach and Ty didn't get their way, what do? They throw a temper tantrum. They throw a god doggone temper tantrum the size of Texas, the size of the earth. Like, they are mad. They are pissed. And they don't like it. And they're going to let everybody know that they don't like it. They are mad. I'm like, ooh, the boys are mad. And so then they were like, oh, we're going to play dirty if we have to. Because Hope didn't do what we wanted him to do. We are going to make sure that Big Brother knows that he got something from the outside world inside, and he is cheating. He's cheating. Mm-hmm. Hope is cheating, and he needs to be ejected from the game because he's cheating. And it's like, oh, well, okay. What is this outside information that Hope has that he's cheating? I mean, did he bring a phone in the house, a cell phone, or uh, 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 iPad or something? What he got that the outside world is telling him? What? He's cheating. So we finally find out that Hope's girlfriend stuck a letter in his sock and put it in his bag. And so he found said letter in his sock, and he's had the letter for about a week. And he actually showed that to Ty and to Zach about a week ago when he finally got his stuff back. And when he finally got it, he showed him like, oh, my girlfriend successfully snuck this letter in. And it really was just like a note of encouragement, like, I love you. I'm excited for you. Hope you have a great time. Blah, blah, blah. You know, little stuff. Nothing, because she couldn't put a letter in saying, don't trust this person. It has a real impact on the game, because she's just saying, I love you. I hope you have fun. I know this is a dream. I miss you. You know, little stuff of encouragement. And so they knew about it a week ago. But they decided to not mention it until Hope didn't do what they wanted him to do. So all of this is to prevent all of this is to prevent um all of this is to prevent Zach from going home. See, before, when they didn't need to talk about it, it wasn't a big deal for them. But now that Hope refuses to do what they want him to do, now we got to get him disqualified, because if he gets disqualified, he has to go home. Then Zach gets to stay. Hmm. So I'm like, oh, so this is how we act when we don't get our way. We throw a temper tantrum. We act out. We make sure that people get thrown out the house for little reasons that you didn't find a problem with a week ago. But now that he's not playing the game that you want him to play, now it's a problem because he's a cheater. Wasn't he a cheater a week ago? Then when you saw the letter, wasn't he a cheater then? But you didn't say nothing about it then. But you want to say something about it now because it benefits you. Huh. Interesting. Very interesting, I say. You know, I call that punk behavior. I call that childish, petty behavior. Because if it wasn't important to you a week ago when you found out and he had cheated, quote unquote, cheated, you would have said something a week ago if this was about principle, like he wanted to claim on, this is about principle. You don't care about the rules. We all had them sign these same rules. And he got something from the outside that's an advantage. How is being a letter of saying I love you an advantage in the game? It's not. It's just encouragement. But okay, sure, whatever. You want to claim he cheated, but you found out a week ago. if this was such a big deal a week ago, you should have reported it then, and he would have had that letter gone a week ago. But you didn't care about that. You didn't even care about the letter. You didn't even care the fact that he had the letter. What you're mad at is Hope decided not to do your plan that you wanted him to do. So you will snitch on him. That's punk behavior. That's childish behavior. That's petty behavior. Had nothing to do with the game. This is because you didn't get your way. You're a child. Zach and Ty are children, and they acted like children when they're in adult bodies. They're acting like petty little kids. When they don't get their way, they're going to snatch their ball back and go home. And you know what? That is exactly what happened. That is exactly what happened. Because they made threats and said if nothing happens to Hope over this cheating, they were going to walk. They're going to walk. They were going to take their ball and they were going to go home. Because there's no way Big Brother would allow this to happen. No, they are going to walk. Big Brother can't host the show without them, right? If we all walk, what they gonna do? I'll tell you what they gonna do. They gonna keep rolling and keep playing the game and keep playing the show. One monkey don't stop no show, and not even two. Two monkeys don't stop no show. The show will go on. They even tried to get Dan S in that, and Dan S was like, I'm not a part of that. No. That conversation went to Dan S and left Dan S. He was like, I'm not quitting no show over no letter. I'm not finna, I don't even know what the heck is going on. I'm not even gonna do that. We walk. We can all walk. Walk? For what? For what? Something I ain't know nothing about? I'm not gonna walk. Dan S was not here for that. But Ty was definitely down for the cause. He was like, we will walk if nothing happens. So when Hope gets called, after they had this little conversation with Dan S about this letter, they call Zach in. He tells that Hope has this letter. And then they call Hope. Hope confirmed that he had the letter, sent the letter. They left the letter there. He took, he let the letter go, and they took it. So everybody's the Hope was stressing out because he thinks he's about to get kicked out because he broke the rules. And me personally, I was like, well, how did he might not even know the letter was in there. Now, I don't know. He could have known. He could have known that they put the letter in the sock. Or his girlfriend could have tried to surprise him and put the letter in the sock and didn't tell him about it and then hope he found it. So he might not have known. I don't know. I don't know if he knew or if he did not know. And I don't know if we'll ever know. But the fact of the matter is, he got caught with the letter. They took it, and they were going to figure out what they were going to do about this letter. Zach and Ty are like over the moon, like, you cheated? You're gonna go home. You're gonna go home because you cheated. Now, Kuzi, Anika, all the girls, Kuzi, Anika, everybody else, Dan, they was trying to figure out what's on. Hope is freaking out. He thinking he was about to go. And they're like, what? What happened? So he tells Renee, and Renee is like, oh no. Oh my God, we can't lose to you. Da da da. So they tell him, they end up finding out what happened. And Ty and Kuzi are going back and forth because she's like, why is this a thing now? Like, what is, he cheated how? Because he got a letter that is not about the game. It's just something. And she's just like, what y'all did was petty. You just did this because you want your boy to stay. And he's like, Ty's like, you just mad because your plan is blowing up. She's like, my plan is perfectly fine. My plan is go work regardless because I have the numbers. It doesn't matter if they send Hope home or not. The numbers still don't lie, and he's still going home. Your boy is still going home, and you going home after him. And I'm like, whoop, 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 purr, purr, purr. I don't know if it's happening, but I'm just like, go Kuzi. And so then Kuzi gets into another altercation with Zach because Zach is like, you don't care that he cheated? You're crazy. That's crazy. Kuzi's like, this has nothing to do with game. You're not talking about game right now. You're just being very petty and you're being very childish and y'all just decide that because you're going to tell on him because you didn't get the plan that you wanted to go, it didn't go out the way you wanted to go, and now you're mad, and now you go do something very personal that he told you, and you go tell on him when it wasn't a problem when he told you, but you waited until it was the perfect time to try to get him kicked out. That's petty. And Zach is like, that's not what it is, and I'm not trying to, and this is this. He's cheaters. Y'all don't care about people who cheat. This is the principle, and yada yada yada. It's the principle of the matter. It's the principle of the matter. And so he's mad. They're mad. Everybody's just like, whoo. And of course, Dan seeing them and like, calm down, because he's trying to keep his allies, Kuzi and Zach, both cool and calm, and they can all stay. But I'm like, Dan, zip it, shush, sit it down. Let this happen, and you need to pick a side. You need to choose, because later Kuzi tells Dan, see, if you don't vote out Zach, you're voting against me. And we have nothing else to talk about after this. We will have nothing else to talk about this. We just won't. And he's like, come on, Kuz. And she's like, no, because I feel like you are going against me if you're going to keep him. And he's just like, I don't know what to do. I don't know. And she's like, you make your choice. It is what it is. And I don't blame her, because honestly, if I'm coming up with this whole elaborate backdoor plan or this plan to work, and then the people who are supposed to be working with me decide they don't want to do it anymore, then why would you let me put myself out there like that? We could have went the safe route, and it would have been, whatever. But I went out and put my face out there. I'll talk about some of those later. But yeah, so she's like, if you are not on board with voting out Zach, then you are cutting off this relationship. So Zach has come up with this other plan also. Now, I might be jumbling some stuff around. I watched all of it in one time, so I don't know if I'm putting it in chronological order, but you will get the gist. So Zach talks to Ty, and he's like, look, I don't know if I have the numbers. He said, what I'm going to do is talk to Cece, Claudia, and Shania, and we'll talk and see if they're not willing to vote for me. I'm walking. I done said I'm walking, because this is why he decides he's going to walk. Because Big Brother has come down with what they're going to do, how they are going to settle this letter incident. They said that they looked over the letter that Hope got, and it was nothing that was going to interfere with the game. So, but every action has a reaction, and he has a punishment. His punishment is that he will not be able to play for HOH this week, and he loses his vote this week. Stripped of his vote, and he can't play in the next HOH. That was the punishment, which I found to be a fair punishment, because, like I said, it didn't impact the game. There was nothing about anybody in the game on this letter so he can, use against them in the game. Nothing. It was just an encouraging letter. And also, they gave everybody a letter from home that they get to keep for a week, which I'm like, oh, that's nice. So everybody got a letter from home, and they were able to keep it and read it and be encouraged this whole week. So I thought that was a fair decision. Zach and Ty did not feel like it was a fair decision. They were like, they just go let cheaters cheat. Is that what it is? We make rules and we let cheaters go. I'm like, every crime doesn't take the full extent of the law. Every crime committed does not mean you have to give them the most severe punishment. He got punished. That should be enough. Disqualification is a huge thing. And to disqualify somebody out of a game for a letter is a little much. But they don't think that. They thought it was too little, and he should have been gone. So he was like, I'm going to talk to Shania and Claudia, and if they won't vote for me, then I'm out of here. I'm walking. And so he talks to Claudia. Claudia's like, I don't know. It just feels so crappy. Because I understand, because they made a proposal that because Shania trusts Dan S. and Claudia, And Claudia trusts Ty and Shania, and Ty trusts Claudia and Zach, and Dan trusts Zach and Shania the most, then they should work together. They should all be in the group. Now, Claudia had already said she does not really trust Ty that much. She doesn't feel like they could work together in a game, and so she told that to Shania. So like, I don't know if I could really. Oh, did she tell us Anika? She might tell. No, she told to Anika. But anyway, she said she just can't really see herself working with Ty. Maybe in the long run, she probably can't see. Maybe short term, she can see it as much as he can be the shield in front of her. Sure, great. But they were like, since we all somehow trust each other and the same people, I could be that, person to help protect you and work with you and da da da. But she wasn't really feeling that much, and neither was Shania. And they were kind of like, oh, I don't know, it doesn't really make sense for me to vote you to stay over, Santina, da 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 da. So Zach was like, oh, okay, I understand, da da da. He goes to Ty and is like, Claudia's not voting for me. She's not voting for me. And he said, I don't think Shania is voting for me either. And so he's just like, I don't know. He's like, I'm not going to, I can't do this like this. If the principle of it all is they just go let cheaters, stay. And we gotta walk, bro. We said we go walk if this happened. We gotta walk. And Ty's like, yeah, we gotta do it. We gotta walk. And they're like, all right. So Ty wants to make one more last just effort to guilt Claudia into saying she's going to vote for Zach. And he was like, oh no, I'm not campaigning. I just want to say goodbye. Just came to say goodbye. So he takes her to the room and she's crying, I'm gonna go. And I'm gonna leave. And he's like, principal, I just want to say goodbye. It was nice knowing you, nice meeting you, blah, blah, blah. So Zach and Ty go into the diary room together. And so Shania, Claudia, Daniel S, and they're all like, DJ Dan, and they're all like, is this really happening? Are they leaving? So Santina comes downstairs like, what's happening? And they're like, we don't want to talk about it. We don't want to talk about it. She's like, okay. She goes back upstairs. She's like, I don't know what's happening, but they don't want to talk about it. It's kind of awkward down there. So I'm going to sit up here. And they're just like, so Ty and Zach are in the diary room and they're like, how do we do this? How do we start this self-eviction process? And they were like, the producer's like, you want to leave? And they were like, yeah, yeah. Literally, we're going to take our ball and leave because we didn't get the outcome that we wanted. Things didn't go our way, so I'm gonna leave. They didn't say that, but that's how I heard it. When they were talking, I heard, I want it, I'm gonna leave. Why? And so you can look on Ty's face, and he is second guessing this decision because honestly, this is Zach pushing Zach's agenda and making sure Ty goes along with his agenda. And so the producer's like, are you sure you want to leave? And Ty's like, Zach is like, I mean, bro, if you are changing your mind, I understand. If that's what you want to do, I just, he's like, but Zach, do you want to leave? Zach's like, I want to leave. I'm like, because because you didn't get your way, you're going to self evict. And they were like, okay, Zach. And him and Ty dapped it up. And they were like, Ty, you still trying to leave? Ty was like, nah, I'm going to stay. Because Ty is all bark and no bite. Punk behavior is what I like to call it. Because you have all that stuff to say. And you talking all that bravado. You jumping in whole face. You up and you in arms. And you, trust me, this is going to happen. And you had the opportunity to self-evict like you claimed you were going to do that because you didn't get your way. And what do? I am not a cussing woman, so I'm not going to start. You're not going to get me to start. But that was a punk move, and you know what I'm trying to say. All that just for you to say, nah, I'm not going to do it. And then Zach, on you, all that bravado because you didn't get your way, you are going to quit a game that you spent all that time going through audition after audition and interview after interview, sequestered and everything, just to leave because you didn't have your way. Wow. Wow. So entitled, so childish, in my opinion, in my personal opinion. You don't have to agree with me. And it's okay if you don't. But in my personal opinion, you, the two of you, are punks. Childish, petty, sorry excuses for men, honestly. Because y'all talked all that game. Y'all talked all that. Y'all talked about the women in this game. You talked about how much you running and how much control you got. And the second you lose an ounce of control, you lose it. Hilarious. Hilarious. And then I see on Twitter, Zach is not. He's the one thing he could say that we knew that everybody's going to say, you didn't see everything. You don't see everything. And you're right, we don't, because we don't have live feeds now to say we've seen everything. We don't see everything, but we've seen enough, Zach. We've seen enough. I don't care all of the foolishness that you say when all I know, because guess what? We don't see it all. All we know is what they show, and what we see is you being a childish punk because you didn't get your way. You decided that you were going to take your ball and leave. Sorry excuse. Sorry excuse. I thought you were the Kardashians of the Ottawa or wherever you're from. If that's the case, I don't know what Kardashians you were watching, but you are, you're not even, you're a sad excuse for that. Because, whatever. But I'm happy to see you go, Zach. I was ready for you to go 2 weeks ago when you walked in the house. But I'm happy to see you go. And I'm glad it was under Queen Koozi's watch that you left. Bye, Zach. See you never. And that is my take on that. So this next week is going to be the whodunit week. Everything is going to be anonymous. We won't know who the HOH is. It's going to be anonymous. So we'll see what happens. I am hoping. I know we said that earlier in this podcast that we were Dan C stan, and I still am a stan of Dan C. I still love him. I don't understand his relationship with Zach, but that does not mean I don't stan him still. I hope he doesn't disappoint. I mean, some things we don't always have to agree with everything that they do, but I still love him. He is still a person who I love. So there's that. I hope next week Kuzi is still great and in a good position. I am, from what I'm seeing on some of the digital dailies, I honestly have not watched all of them, but what I've seen, I am like, ugh. Um, some of the girls are excluding Kuzi from their girls' alliance, which I'm like, interesting. Interesting. Not shocked, but interesting. I mean, but she was the one who actually made stuff happen and got out one of the biggest threats that y'all wanted out, but she's not included. All right, whatever. Like I said, I don't really know. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm very caught up on the digital dailies because I am not. But I will say this: I will be back next week to talk more of Big Brother Canada. Hopefully, I'll have some people with me, so you all aren't just subjected to just me. I know. I don't. I don't. I wouldn't want this on my for me, for you guys either. I want you all to have other opinions from different people, more commentary. But we got to do what we got to do. Sometimes it's just gonna be me, and sometimes it might be just somebody else. We work with what we got, people. You know. Um, but that's all I'm going to talk about right now. We'll find out what happens next week. Um, you know what to do. Follow, like, share, hit the bell. Follow us on at Twitter. Follow us on Twitter at the cup underscore reality so you can find out when all of the videos are dropping. And if you want to follow me on Twitter. I'm, my presence is, I'm there. My presence is there. Um, and if you want to get your cup merch, look at that cup, that beautiful cup. You can get your cup at lanagcreations.etsy.com. There we have cups, we have hats, we will have shirts, we will have um, sweatpants, all kind of stuff coming up. So, check all of that out. Um, yeah, that's what it is. So that's it. That's it. We'll be back next week to talk more Big Brother. And for now, bye. Have a good one.